I think this is one of those rare instances where the week just isn't absolutely packed with news, which is good, I think. Or maybe it's bad because there's actually less content to talk about. Before we go any further though, I want you all to just take a moment here and do me a little favor. After watching the video, I want you to go down into the comment section below and leave me a comment. In that comment, I want you to tell me why you play MMORPGs. It can be short and simple, it can be long and complex, but I want to hear from you. I'm looking to do a deep video on why people play MMOs and would love to feature some thoughts from our community. But, you know, after watching the video, because YouTube is weird and rewards you with more views the longer people watch your videos. Before we go any further, I want to take a quick moment here to talk to you all about today's sponsor, Castlecraft World War. I know a lot of you guys are fans of PvP in your games. I have always been a very big fan of PvP myself. Castlecraft just so happens to be a real-time PvP strategy game with an emphasis on strategy. You get to build your own team from the ground up, you can customize your units, you can level up your commander and lay waste to your enemies. There's a lot of diversity and room for extensive customization for every single encounter. But PvP wouldn't be as fun without friends though, right? And in Castlecraft, you can join a guild, you can compete with your guild members, and you can assert your dominance over them, showing them who's top dog. There's plenty to do in Castlecraft and plenty of people to test your prowess against. Pre-registration is open right now, so if any of this sounds like fun and you're interested in receiving 1,500 rubies, 30,000 gold, 3 uncommon cards, and a specialist box, then go right ahead, click that link in the description in the pinned comment below to pre-register for the game. With that out of the way though, we have plenty to talk about, so let's go ahead, jump right into this week's Weekly Byte of MMORPG news. Let's start this off with what is arguably something none of us ever saw coming. Bless Unleashed launched onto PC last week to absolutely astonishing numbers. 40,000 concurrent players. The following day spiked to 60,000, then 70,000, peaking at almost 80,000 concurrent players every day for its first week. A week later, it is still averaging over 70,000 active concurrent players throughout the day, which is a turnaround legitimately nobody, not a single person ever expected to see. This could be due to any number of reasons. People curious if it's as bad as everyone else was claiming, it being a free new MMO that people with no knowledge of the game's history weren't aware of, but the fact that people have remained playing all week means that there are a sizable number of players actually enjoying themselves enough to devote time to it. There is no arguing that this has been quite the success for NeoWiz in its first week, but we will have to see how the first month fares overall. I was going to list both Astellia Online and Astellia Royal separately, but I'm gonna be honest here. They're the same game, just like Arcade and Arcade Unchained, with the difference being that Royal is free to play as opposed to buy to play. While Bless Unleashed has been doing incredibly well, Astellia on the other hand has been doing the exact opposite. The devs behind Astellia have confirmed that as of October 29th, the entire Astellia service, pertaining to Astellia Online, Astellia Royal, and even their Astellia website will be shutting down. There will be nothing left of the Astellia IP anywhere online. I did a video on this 2 days ago and went on to showcase how even though Astellia Royal launched as a free MMO on Steam, it never even broke 1,000 concurrent active players. This game has been dead for months now, with less than 10 people logging in to play it each day, so it was only natural that this would happen. Yeah, Alion's second closed beta is right around the corner on August 18th, and there are plenty of people excited to not only try out the new class, but also see the alterations made between the first and second beta tests. One of which is the addition of significantly more PvP options. We got to participate in open world PvP firsthand, something that a friend of ours, Hikari, noted on a blog that they frequent, where people were griefing us out in the open world because we were streaming the game, and griefing streamers is fun for people. But we're going to be able to test out the new battlefields and the 3 new PvP arena modes, the Brawler Arena, the Captain Battle, and the Honor Arena. I still have some keys to give away for the second closed beta test, so if you're interested, just drop a comment below letting me know why you're interested in playing Alion, and I might drop you a key to redeem. I know this comes as absolutely no surprise by this point, but Amazon Games have announced last week that they were once again delaying the launch of New World to September 28th. I know. Seriously, again? Yeah, again. But the reason they continue to push the game back is to ensure that it releases in the best form it can. We're all excited to play it. There were hundreds of thousands of concurrent players during its last test phase. Evidently, there is a large market for the game, but if they release it in its current form, it might never recover in the long term. So every day, every alteration, every feature, every bug fix matters. One thing worth noting though is that this might directly affect the release date of Lost Ark, as I highly doubt they have plans on conflicting with one another. For players with nothing to do at endgame, and let's be real here, that is pretty much the majority of you, then you'll be happy to learn that Swords of Legends Online has just rolled out 2 new raids. And I use the term raid a little loosely here. The 2 new raids are much smaller than what you'd expect out of a raid in an MMO, but it's new content for players to push through weekly. The 2 raids in question are aimed at groups of 10 to 20 people that require an item level of 50 for the easy mode and 60 for the normal mode. Meanwhile, the concurrent player numbers for the game continue to decline, so it will be interesting to see the kind of update the game really needs to turn things around in terms of activity. Corepunk is an MMO that I have actually been looking forward to. It's an amalgamation of Lost Ark and Path of Exile, taking the best of both games and consolidating them into something unique. And while the team had announced earlier this year that the game would be holding a beta test this month, with a launch sometime in December, it turns out that the beta test in question has been delayed all the way into December. This is due to quote-unquote technical issues, providing unavoidable problems, and it makes sense. My main concern with this is that the announcement made early this year was already a delay from their previous announced test phase, so this isn't the first time that they've A, run into these issues that delayed the launch of the game, and B, been unable to push through said issues in a reasonable amount of time. But I would rather they take their time nevertheless and release a good game rather than a rushed piece of garbage. After what seems like an eternity at this juncture, NCSoft have confirmed the release date of Blade & Soul's Unreal Engine 4 update, September 8th. Yeah, it is much sooner than I had personally expected, and sooner than I'm sure all of you had expected. I've covered what you should expect from the Unreal Engine 4 update in a video a week or 2 ago if you're interested in what you have to look forward to or what you might want to avoid. While there are going to be a number of alterations to the game, classes, abilities, graphics, dungeons, co-op content, gear, while they're changing so much of the game entirely, they're also releasing the brand new Dual Blade class, the same class that I covered recently, and I am excited. I love dual weapon classes, dual swords being one of my favorites. I was about to jump back into Blade & Soul to do a video on it, but this might be the perfect opportunity to, now that I have a confirmed September 8th release date. In news that I honestly did not see coming, Terra actually revealed that they were going to be introducing new content to the PC iteration of the game. The addition of the new Cursed Fusion Laboratory, both normal and cursed versions, the Stormed Citadel, and new gear. Although, what is actually more important in my opinion is the announcement that they're removing dungeons from the game in their entirety, something that fans of the game absolutely love to hear. Oh wait, sorry, that's actually the opposite of what players want to hear. Instead of removing content, what players want is new content added to complement the existing content. Oh, well, who'd have thought? I'm actually kind of surprised by this set of news. On the one hand, I never tried out Mortal Online 2's stress test, so I'm unsure of how good or bad it ultimately ended up being. But given that they're holding a final test phase next month, I might actually be able to, or not, given that for some reason, the team working on it have confirmed to access the stress test, you're going to need to pay a subscription fee. Yeah, now don't get me wrong, I'm not hating on the game, I haven't played it, but I cannot fathom why you would charge people for the final stress test of a game. Reddit, which, you know, is not in any way indicative of the majority audience, is quite upset with this limitation that is being imposed, but I guess they have their reasoning. Regardless, Mortal Online 2 will be launching on October 26th, and we're gonna be there streaming it day one. You know, if the servers hold anyway. A couple days ago, NCSoft released not only a teaser for a new Lineage MMORPG, but also opened a website with information pertaining to the title, being referred to currently as just Lineage W. Little is known about the upcoming game other than the fact that NCSoft are scheduled to reveal the game fully on August 19th, with a launch towards the end of 2021. Lineage W is being developed strategically for global users with a worldwide concept. This is fantastic news, if not for the fact that they revealed it'll be exclusive to mobile devices. Yeah, so thanks NCSoft. While Project SF2 is not going to be an MMO, it is going to have co-op content most likely, and they just released an entire trailer for the game after months of waiting, which I definitely think is worth checking out. A little more info has been revealed pertaining to the game. It's going to have hundreds of waifus to collect, looks to have turn-based combat as opposed to action combat like Genshin and more. Honestly, if you're interested, go ahead and consider checking out my dedicated video on it a few days ago. Finally, Nexon released a brand new trailer for their upcoming Dungeon Fighter Overkill MMO, and my god, the trailer! This game looks absolutely astounding. I don't think I've seen such incredible looking character models in an anime MMO. I covered the entire thing in detail earlier this week for those of you that are interested, but suffice it to say, the sooner we get this, the better. They're recruiting additional staff right now to finish the game, with it looking as though they're prioritizing Overkill over their other upcoming MMO project, Project BBQ. And honestly, that is fine. This looks like a spiritual successor to Dungeon Fighter Online, and I could not be more excited. And that is it. That is all of the MMO news that has been brought to my attention over the course of the last 2 weeks. If you know of anything I missed, feel free to hit me up on Twitter or Instagram or Facebook or even Discord with the link so I can talk about it.
Someday soon, I'm gonna make it.